Okay, so now we are okay. All right, so now we are seeing each other for the first time.
There
Hey,
we
how's it
go.
going, Eric?
Doing
Yeah,
all
how
right.
you
How you
doing?
doing, Albert?
I'm doing good, man. Just enjoying your latest EP that is out, Fall Apart Anywhere. I am talking, of course, with Eric from the band Floorbird. Very happy to be talking with you, speaking with you today. How are things out there in Philadelphia first?
Um, I don't know. I don't leave my house. My wife and I are pretty serious about how we deal with COVID. So I pretty much only go outside of the house to like go to the grocery store. When we, you know, even when we're doing like band stuff, we're typically very careful about like how we handle social distancing, masks, stuff like that. So I honestly could not tell you what it's like in Philly. I can barely tell you what it's like outside my house.
Are you a very introverted person?
Uh I don't think so. No, I mean I work in sales for like a day job, so like I have to be pretty extroverted. But I think it has a lot more to do with just like with everything that's going on right now. I certainly don't mind just being at home because I can still talk to people as much as I need to.
Yeah, I get it. I'm, it was weird when all this happened because it really had to make me figure out who I was. Because, in all honesty, I thought I was an extroverted person because I liked being out, I liked being around people, but not too many people. I got anxiety when there was a lot of people. But it made me realize that I'm more of an introvert than I thought because I too am enjoying the solitude of just kind of being at home. I don't have a wife, but I do have a fish. So, I talk to my fish every now and then just to see how they're doing in their little quarantine bubble. But yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But
introvert man, you're made for radio then.
I know, right? This is well. I'll tell you. In some of the interviews that I've done, the hardest part was transitioning from audio to now video, which is what I'm doing now because I realized that I had to start doing other things other than audio to get my show out there, to get myself out there. And that was an extremely hard part to do. Was that hard of a transition for you guys as well? Starting out as a band and then now doing videos?
So it was an interesting transition for us specifically just because like this whole thing was born in quarantine. Um I had started doing demos and stuff like that at home. Like I have a recording setup here. Like it's really a demo studio at most, but like that's where a lot of the record was done. Um and we kind of like off of those demos we brought in Kevin, or Kevin was a friend of mine, and he kind of brought in Drew and Tom because I knew them, but he knew them and
Right.
and knew them really well, and it was kind of like Kevin's cosign that sort of brought the project together and got everyone working. But ever like the entire record was really done separately. Like Kevin also runs a studio at his home, so we did what we had to do there. We did what we had to do here. Drew has stuff to track bass as well on his own, and our friend John Sambrick, who runs Thornwall Studios in Lancaster, was able to mix it all together and make it sound all nice. But it was all done remote, and even for like videos, it's really just a lot of planning. I guess the short answer to what you're saying is yes. It's just weird because it's like we as a group don't have anything else to compare it to. Like
Gotcha.
we were never physically in the same room until we had our first rehearsal together in like actual like physically all in the same room rehearsal together in like August. And even that was like it took a lot of planning. Hey, are we quarantined? Masks up, all that good stuff. And I'm especially a liability because I have to sing. So it's like, all right,
Right.
well, everyone stay 5 miles from Eric while we're doing this because he's singing, talking, making noise into a microphone, so he doesn't have a mask on.
By the way, the next title of your next album, 5 Miles from Eric.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
yeah.
a fun title. Um, okay, so because of that, I know this band is a project. And you alluded to the point of there is a lot of planning in this band. Was that ever, anticipated with all your other bands? Did you ever plot this much with a band like this?
Me definitely no, but I'm also like not. I've never been like a music professional. Like I used to do like cover gigs and get paid for those, but like every other project I've done has kind of been like I guess when you're young, you kind of model things off of what you're exposed to mostly. So like when I'm younger, I didn't know a lot of like serious musicians, or I knew serious musicians my age, but not like professionals touring stuff like that. So I would look at big signed bands, and I'd be like, oh, well, let me mimic what they're doing, which is like basically once you're at that phase, your job is just write music, record it, release records, go on tour. Turns out, that's not a super effective way on its own to run a band when you're just starting out, because otherwise you're just a couple dudes making music, not really doing anything with it. Um, so no, that was new to me. It was always just flying by the seat of your pants, like, all right, we made a record, let's go make another one, and like that was kind of always the move. Whereas even when this was done, I came to Tom, Drew, and Kevin, and I was like, yeah, all right, record's done. We got the masters back. Let's go. Let's do art and let's just get it out there. How soon can we get it out there? And Kevin, who is kind of like he's kind of like our unofficial like manager in a way, kind of had to be like pump the brakes, man. There's a lot that goes into releasing a record. We have to do videos. We have to do all this other stuff. And I'm just, like, that was the first big like eye-opening moment for me when I was like, oh, I have to, like, there's a lot of work to this. And he's like, yeah, making the record's the easy part. Like making the record's the easy part. It's everything you have to do after, between now and the next record, that's the hardest part.
It's funny because I was looking you guys up on your social medias and stuff. And by the way, if you want to contact them, they're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, both at Floorbird Band for Facebook and Twitter, and then Floorbird for Instagram. And I'll have all the links on entertheshell.com and on the show notes, so you can go check out this really cool band. Some of the things that I've been hearing about your band is that you have a very nostalgic sound, and I wanted to know, when you were creating, or when you guys were kind of architecting this band, was that something that came into your mind that you wanted to replicate, or did this just happen organically? You're like, oh my god, we're nostalgic.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, that's like whenever someone says like, oh, your music's nostalgic, I'm like, is that just, that's just calling me old. I'm just that's just like I don't know. We went out to make, like, I wanted to make music that we like. That's really all it is. And it's just we want to make stuff that is what we'd want to listen to. And oops, because it turns out what I like to listen to isn't the most current stuff anymore. I swear it's like I've started the transition when like people talk about like, oh, that's dad rock, to like older like bands who do like more like classic rock style stuff. I'm like, man, we'll look at all that dad rock stuff, and now they're like, once I read two reviews that said nostalgic, I was like, oh shit, that's me now. Like I'm slowly making the transition into my generation's version of dad rock. Like I know where that's going now. So that was like that's been a sobering thing for me, but no. But no, we didn't plan on it being that. We were just like making music that was this type of stuff we wanted to do.
Right. I mean, when I heard it, I didn't think of nostalgia or anything. I was just like, man, this is cool. This is, emo, per se. And, and it's weird because emo has such this stigma to it these days, I feel. Do you feel the same way?
I have to disagree, because I remember there was a time in my youth when they didn't make skinny jeans for guys, and
Right.
so teenage Eric had to wear girl pants to get the skinny jeans look, and like that was like, we got me and the three other kids at my school who like were bought into the emo thing when I was growing up, were like just not never particularly vicious, but like we caught a lot of crap for it. We caught a lot of flack for the emo thing. And like now it's become pretty mainstream. Like it's still like it still seems to me that like you said, nostalgic. It still gets like almost like a classic rock kind of look to it. But it's become very popular. It's become very mainstream. Like now you can go to emo night parties where there's not even a band playing. It's literally just like like regular going to the club type thing. I mean, you can't now because quarantine.
Right.
But like you can go to Voltage Lounge every so often, and it's like just they have a DJ there, and they're just spinning all the old emo songs. I think
Yeah,
I think
we
I think it's interesting.
yeah, we have something like that here in Los Angeles. There's a emo night that is out there in LA at what is it? Oh, I can't remember right now, but it's out there in Echo Park. Um, it's right next to Masa of Echo Park. It's this Chicago deep dish place. It's right next to. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it right now. It's just because it's been so long since I've been, and their hashtag is sad as fuck. That's their hashtag. So
Isn't that I think that's actually, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I think it's run by a group called Emo Night Brooklyn, but they do ones like all over now, and it
yeah,
and it, and it kind of grew into this nationwide thing, which I think is just fascinating.
I do too because I like going there. I like listening to the music and just like scoping everything out and just you know, as emo as this is, just standing in a corner and just like looking around and stuff. So that's really cool. When you guys are writing, by the way, it's interesting because your music is so like poppy, but like you're really talking about some hard, heavy hitting things like mental illness and loneliness. How do you make that transition, or what is that duality? When you're creating that song, but you're talking about something serious.
It's really just kind of putting on two separate hats for two separate purposes. Like there's definitely not a song on this record that was like, hey, I wrote music and lyrics together, and like it all kind of flowed out at once. Everything is like I come up with usually the music part first. I do a first draft, kind of a demo, like kind of cut and paste some stuff around, write lyrics around that, and then eventually, like, usually there will be certain changes. Like Navy Blue was one that got a lot of rewrites. Both of that initial chorus where like the instrumentals were straightened out, but that bridge, that middle section, um, got like a first draft and then a couple others mixed around. Um, but usually I'll do music first, put lyrics to it, and then readjust the music to fully match the lyrics.
Speaking of Navy Blue, you did touch on something that I wanted to talk to you about. I know it took a long time for you to, I guess, get that song down to an essence. What was it about that song? Because anybody could have easily shelved that song and just let it sit and maybe put it on the next record, or maybe just even waited longer. What was it about that song that you were just like, I have to get it on this EP?
It was so close to being done. Like I had, everything up through the second chorus, even into like I had a rough draft of the bridge and the ending. Like that was done from the beginning. I had verses, I had like these huge chunks of the song written, and I kept getting stuck on the chorus. And I would say, and so eventually it was like it was so close, like let's just get it done. And so like even like traveling for work or anytime I was typically in a space alone, I would just keep like I even had that rhythm, that melody sort of for that chorus, and I was just like writing 20 different versions of that, trying to figure like what works, what makes sense, what fits. Like it was really, really iterative, and it normally isn't. Normally it's very much like, hey, I got the gist, let's clean it up. This was like version 1, version 2, version 3. It just that chorus kept getting rewrites just on the lyrics.
Really turned out really well. Really dig the song. Got to see the music video to that song. Super creative. I really enjoyed it because I know a lot of times bands, what they do is, they don't, for lack of a better term, they don't know how to market the song, so they just are like, okay, let's just have the band playing, and that's the music video. You guys did that, but you took this great creative turn where it's like there's like slivers of you like in between keyboards and you're outside, but like you guys are kind of separated. Very cool music video. What was the director's concept? Was that their concept or was that your concept for that?
So something we try to do, given the talents of the people involved, we try to do as much as we can in house. So I'm not a producer, but I can write. Kevin, our guitar player, is a producer by trade. So we're trying to be the band who our next record entirely just same as this one, entirely done in house. That video was entirely done in house. Drew, our bassist, does professional video for a living. So he basically kind of had a concept, and none of us got it. None of it. He tried to explain it. We do this. We kind of run the band in a very business-like way. We actually have Zoom meetings every week. We have an agenda every time. We have notes. We have everything we do is up in Google Drive. This is the first band I've ever been involved in that has spreadsheets. We have, there's
Why?
I mean, everything from minutes, to dos, budget stuff, payouts, all that, everything we make a point of staying organized with it, just so that nothing ever stalls. But we had one meeting where Drew came up with the concept, and we were like, we don't get it. And he was like, okay, don't worry about it. It'll be good. We had another meeting where he tried to do a rough draft, and we're like, I don't get it. But if you believe in it, then let's do it. And so literally everything was actually done in static shots. So things were roughly measured in terms of we had three cameras, and we did actually have three friends who came out to operate camera and help produce it. And it was all right, camera 1 center X feet away, cameras 2 and 3 X feet away at whatever angle. And then we would always do all right, now let's get a shot of Tom behind the drums because he was blocked every time. And then we did one last round in the green room of Kevin's studio. And that's all the ones where we're sitting or by a keyboard and stuff like that for the Navy Blue video.
But, really cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. But that was all Drew's idea. None of us understood what was happening until he finally started sending some rough cuts to us, and it all kind of clicked. Oh, I get it.
There was one part in the video, and because I watched that video, I want to say 3 times because it was really cool. But I noticed, and I think it was, I don't know if it was you or the drummer, but there was 4 boxes of something called Catan in the back. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but I'm like, what is this? You guys have, I don't know if it's a board game or not.
I think it is. I think it is, because so if you look I know behind that shelf Risk is in there.
Yeah.
Kevin, a fascinating thing about Kevin, I don't know if this is public knowledge or not, but I guess it is now. He's a big nerd. He's really into no, I'm kidding, but he's really into a lot of gaming stuff. He's got a lot of board games, and what's something that's really cool that he does is he plays D&D, and I know in one of his games he's the DM, and so he's actually really good at telling stories, writing, coming up with plot ideas and stuff like that. And so if you go into, there's a kitchenette next to the live room in his studio, and he's got just not game pieces something from Risk, but I don't know if they're from Warhammer or what, but it's the Games Workshop style little model pieces and maps and story ideas and stuff like that. It is really fascinating, but he's very much into that stuff. I think Kevin has the most interesting in the aggregate, the sum total of all his hobbies is something that's really fascinating to me. Because in addition to being a professional in the music world and being a producer and a serious pro audio guy, he's really into gaming on PC. He has this really expensive the ones for racing, but it's a steering wheel that clamps onto a table, and it
wow.
It has real life response and stuff. He's fascinating. I think he used to be into actually race cars and stuff back in the day too, but he is. Man. Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Every time I talk to that dude, I learn something new about him that I didn't know before, and I've known him for years now.
Do you ever go and raid his games and stuff and play those just between breaks?
No, I'm frightened of doing that. I'm not gonna. No, I mean, we all stay really busy, and I'm at the point in my life where I almost look like cool new things to do. I'm like, oh shit, I got to do something else now. Like, it's almost like a stressor.
Last question before I let you go. And of course, thank you again for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Of course, you can go out and get Fall Apart Anywhere, which is out everywhere. Go ahead and check out their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram. I'll have all the links on entertheshell.com and the show notes portion. So you can check out this band. Very cool to have you on. I got to see the I'm Not Nervous video as well, since we're talking about videos and stuff like that. I wanted to finish off with this. I love your guys' concept, because every band that makes a lyric video, it's just lyrics, and I get it. Okay, that's cool, but what you guys did was you guys stepped that up another like notch by like actually making a video and then incorporating the lyrics in it. I thought it was very refreshing and very cool. Wanted to get your take on that. Was that again your bassist concept, or what was
Always. It's always Drew with that stuff. But something that I really like, that I'm always really grateful to this group for, is we kind of all made a collective deal that, like, whenever we do any given project or any given element of this, we're gonna do it really, really well, or we're not gonna do it. So, we wanted to do a lyric video as a primer for I'm Not Nervous before the live video. And Drew was like, okay, well, here's, like, I want to do something like better than your average run of the mill lyric video. And that was one that he actually spun up in the middle of one of those meetings where we're trying to figure out concepts and what we're going to do. And he says to our drummer, Tom, he says, Tom, take your phone, put it at the other end of the room, hit record, go sit on the edge of your couch. And this bit is in that video. Go sit on the edge of your couch, and he's sitting there. All right, now go sit in the middle and like do some air drums or something. He's like, okay. All right, now go sit on the other end and like read a book. He's like, okay. And then we continued on with the meeting. And then towards the end of the meeting, he just sends us that clip with the lyrics moving around in it. And we all had this like, oh man, like, falling over, like freaking out about it. And so that was one that came out on a Friday. That meeting happened on a Tuesday, and he just like, it was just like, all right, everyone film it up right now, send it over ASAP. And so we all literally just did it all that night. And like, we had to come up with our own ideas, and it's all like, cause I don't know anything about video. And I'm like, hey, Drew, hey, like, but he's a professional, so he knows what we're asking before we ask it. So I'm like, hey, Drew, so like, if I pour a thing of Scott, he just stopped like, yeah, you can pass the drink to yourself if you really want to. And so like that's and so like stuff like that.
Which, by the way, is my favorite shot of you pouring yourself a Scott and like your face. I was like, man, that's real Scott. I knew it was Johnny Walker too, because I could tell by the bottle.
Had to flip it the other way because I'm trying to cover it with my hands. Yeah. Like I'm like, I don't want to get sued over this.
But that face you make is a typical sometimes face you make when you make like a true stiff drink. I was like, whoa, that's a stiff drink. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was, that honestly, that one was like, I look so fondly on that video. I really think because it was so easy on my end to make. Like the Navy Blue video was a lot of work. It was a full day. It's August. We're outside. It's super hot out.
You're in a jacket. You're in a sweatshirt too. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's so like Navy Blue was tough. I'm really happy with the way that one came out. But like, I'm Not Nervous was just like, it was so just like, yeah, it's a breeze, man. We just like did some fun stuff separately in our homes. Drew did all the hard work putting it together. And it was just like, we had this thing out of nowhere. But that one I look really fondly upon. It was just the memory of making it was really fun to me.
Yeah, you guys, man, it's so weird because you guys are so new. I know that you guys, at least on your social media, like started like in April, but like you weren't in full social media till like May, and to come this far, it really seems like you guys have this down to a science. And not only that, but your music is really resonating with everybody so quickly. Is that surprising to you?
Um, I mean, absolutely. Like, I'm frequently floored by like the number of there's no pun in there, but I'm frequently it's a thing. I swear, it's a thing I said all the time before the band. It has nothing to do with it. But I'm frequently, let's say, bowled over. Then I'm gonna choose a different word by like when people like the number of people. Not that it's been like a huge response, but
Right.
like when I see, oh, we have like X amount of views, I know I'm not supposed to look at that, but like once in a while I look at it, I'm like, oh, sick. Or like my mom will text me like, she would text me every couple of days like, Navy Blue video has this many views on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, no way. But the response of folks who have heard it is like really, really like heartwarming for me, because this was really something that I made just like I felt like I had to. It was like I really wanted to get these songs out there, and I wanted to do all those demos first because I had put Kevin and some other folks through so many instances of being like, I'd be like, yeah, let's start a band, man. And then they come over and like jam. And then like, I never do any, like I wouldn't like write anything or do anything with it. So like, this was almost like me auditioning for them with these demos was like,
Oh.
please be in a band with me. See, I can like, there's some songs.
Well, it's definitely working. So thank you again. Of course, go out, stream the album or buy the album. I know you got some merch out. And lastly, I don't want to keep you too long, but I saw a promo that you guys did. And it was very cool, very creative. And I know it just ended, but you guys were doing like some sort of promo where you can win like merch, you can win a shirt, stickers, CD, but you guys were giving away as well a free Spotify, and not only just Spotify, but the premium Spotify. I thought that was super cool, and no band that I know of has started doing that, and I just thought that was a very clever promo that you guys did.
Yeah, that was Kevin again. That went through. There are moments where I like pull the songwriter card and like we'll be talking about something on a meeting, and I literally am just like, oh guys, I gotta write songs. I can't like I gotta go. I can't like above my pay grade.
Yeah.
And it's like a cop out for me. But like I remember Kevin was like, oh, let's do the first idea was like a guitar pedal, and then that brought up the question of like, well, how many people who listen to this like would want a guitar pedal and or play guitar? And so thankful, like I thought the Spotify card was a great idea. I was really happy with it. And we did end up emailing, or not emailing, mailing that one out. To believe it or not, the person who won is like lives like down the road. And when like Kevin did like he put together like a wheel spin thing, like a randomizer. And when he was like, hey, is it this person that I knew who was? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, like it's of course the random drawing is a person that I know.
Yeah. Does it look like it's random, right?
Yeah, I
You're
was
like,
I
oh.
was like, yeah, no, this is a great reflection for us that turned out this way.
Well, it's a cool idea, cool concept, and I know you guys are gonna think of other cool concepts along the way as you guys are kind of starting this journey as a band, and I look forward to that as well. Of course, go out and really support this band. Get their EP, Fall Apart Anywhere. I'm gonna have links to their Facebook, their Twitter, and their Instagram, and go check them out when they do go on tour. I know that's something that isn't necessarily in the works now, but I know later on that will be something I know I will be looking forward to. If you ever head down here to California, please let me know. I would love to see your guys' show and really enjoy your music. Okay?
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Take care, Albert.
All right, man. That's it. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, man. That was awesome.
Yeah. 1 second. Whoops. There you go.